All right. I Bleed Orange Sports Network. We're here for local Tuesday, 7. One
I think
in the books.
You froze up there, Josh.
It's fine now. We're good.
Yeah, I got you now.
So we completed week 1. We got a lot of talk about. Not really the outcome we wanted, but then again, you can't win them all. You learn more from defeat than victory sometimes. So before we get started, this podcast is sponsored by Image Studios and Golden Gate Parking. Just a couple things about them. Image Studios actually does all. Chris does all the photography for the band. He travels with the band. He's on the field. He takes pictures of the band. His dad was a band member. He was in the band, and they got a business called Imagine Studios over in Greer, South Carolina. And they also do logo paintings, and they do some other stuff. They do weddings. And so anyways, you can look up on our webpage. And we got Golden Gate Clemson Parking. We're actually going to be doing a show over there and having a little tailgate going on Saturday before the game. And that basically, Thomas, basically has got a couple acres out there. You pay. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have food. We're going to have a live show. Tigertown Transport's actually going to transport you because it's not right at the stadium. It's about 6 miles from the stadium. They're going to be going back and forth so they can take you from the parking to the stadium and pick you back up. One of the biggest problems with going to games is parking. If you've ever been, if you've got parking, you've got half of it figured out. So we're going to be there. We're going to be excited. I Bleed Orange will be doing a show. I will announce the times tomorrow. I will verify it with Kia Vanderson. But the way we plan on doing it is an early show around 11 o'clock at Kia Vanderson. And then we're going to go over to Golden Gate, Clemson, and we're going to do a show there and hang out and then go to the game. And let's see, anybody else? El Jimador Mexican restaurant came on board. He's looking at maybe the NC State game. And Diamonds Direct and Gold renewed Friday. We had one of our best shows ever there last year. And this guy is a huge Clemson fan. They actually have been voted like 15 years in a row as the best diamond jeweler store in the upstate. They got all these awards over there, but he's excited. And that's about it. I'm meeting with the hotel chain tomorrow with one of the marketing managers, and hopefully that works out and we get that one too. So without any more sponsors at the moment to announce, let's talk. Guess what? Football. It's football season. We don't seem like we're as excited as we were last week at this time. Couple things that happened. Let me mention this. Any of y'all that were following us on Facebook, out of nothing we've done wrong, nothing in our control, our Facebook page is shut down. Imagine that. 34,000 people down the drain. We are pilling it, but we've started another one. And these are the crazy times we live in. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're on this podcast, meet me. I will have a cage fight with you. It just makes me mad. People have been calling me. We haven't done anything. I don't know who reported this. Really, I got ideas, but it's not up. And so we're starting over, and we've gone from 0. We should hit 1,000 tonight. So that rate will be back up to where we were before Christmas.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, social media laws and all, we don't even really know.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we can get it restored and maybe there's at least an appeal process because, again, I agree. I don't think anything was done that was considered malicious or anything like that.
No.
We have some great admins that run the page that try to keep everything as calm as can be. Never fails.
We screen everybody. We screen all posts, but we can't screen all comments. We can catch them later. And whatever behind the scenes, we're not really sure. But it was nothing any of the admins did wrong. We monitor that thing better than most groups. It's just crazy that a sports page, college, would be terminated after all that work and all those memories and all. But
yeah,
you pick back up.
I think what happens is when you have the success that Clemson football has had. Not just even Clemson football. I mean, the baseball team, the softball team, the soccer team, the basketball team. When all the Clemson sports has had the success that it has had in the last few years, you start to get fans that feel like a little, I don't know, maybe entitled. And so when they don't perform at the level that we all expect them to perform at, they feel that they can come on to social media and criticize the team, the players, the coaches, and whatever else. And it can kind of create a whole atmosphere that sometimes just can take down a page. And I don't think that's what happened here, but hopefully we can get this restored or rebuild, one of the two.
We'll rebuild. We'll rebuild bigger and stronger. It's just I mean, I haven't spent that much time on the page since even when I started it. I literally for 12 hours was getting that thing growing and building it back. And I mean, you know, at this rate, like I said, we should hit 1,000 in a little over 2 days. So at that rate, we'll have it back up running. It's just frustrating. Some people don't even know they're off the page yet. Yeah. And like I said, we monitor it, we screen. I mean, the old page, we had 12 or 14 admins, and I really wasn't on the page at all hardly over the last 3 or 4 days until I heard it got shut down.
Well, and, you know, I have to say, you know, as the
as we speak,
however you want to say it, CEO of the page, you've done a tremendous job in trying to grow the page and get sponsorships. And
so we're actually on the new page. I just shared it from the Sports Network. This is actually live right now on our new page, our 815 people. So that's kind of why I wanted to mention that. All you I-Bleed Orangers that are out there, the 800-something people that are in, share, tell people we're back up, invite them, because there's a lot of success in numbers, a lot of strength in numbers. And, you know, we got a bunch of passionate people. My phone literally rang off the hook for first 24 hours. But, we're strong. We'll survive. Just a little bump in the road, and we'll have it back up and running like it was. So week one.
Without further ado,
dude, we were so excited, man. This time
that Georgia game. I said that without further ado, that Georgia game.
Let's talk the Georgia game. What some girl posted on Facebook. She goes, "There are 3 things you don't ask. You don't ask a woman how old she is. You don't ask a man his salary, and you don't ask a Clemson fan what happened 8/31/24." But no, we stopped at the first half.
Look, let's start out with the positives. I like to start out with positive, talk about the negative, and end with a positive.
Exactly.
The positive is what we already knew going into the game, was that defense was going to do its job. Yeah. And they did their job for the first half. They held the number 1 team to 2 field goals in the first half.
Yeah.
And defense looked good. We had some flashes of good offense, but just couldn't get the offense going. We had some penalties that cost us on 3rd down that we had the first down, but then it got brought back, made us 3rd and long, and we ended up punting. Offense, I don't know what else to say about offense. The play calling. Somebody actually said on Facebook right after the game, it appeared as if Garrett Riley was calling plays out of a 2014 playbook. And I wholeheartedly agreed with that person. The play calling it just seemed vanilla. It seemed plain. It seemed like Georgia knew exactly what we were about to run. As soon as we hiked the ball, Georgia was right where we were putting the ball.
And we had this conversation right before the podcast, and I agree. I'm thinking back. I don't remember Cade getting sacked.
He did not. I don't think there was ever a sack on Cade.
And then again,
that's one of the positives that I will say about this offense, is that the offensive line definitely improved.
Yeah.
Now I also
see these receivers really breaking it out and getting open. Any of the passes.
Antonio Williams had a great day. He had some phenomenal catches.
That they tried to return.
Brenning Stool dropped a pass that was right in his hands, and I'm like, how did this guy? And that was a first down
Well,
play.
even near the end of the first half, we got into scoring position in the red zone, and then some stupid penalties.
Exactly.
We ended up getting that 3 points. We should have scored a touchdown there.
Exactly.
So,
I don't know what else to say about the offense. I don't think it's the players. I think the players did what they were supposed to do, but some play calling, in my opinion, just seemed a little plain, little vanilla, whatever you want to call it.
It was.
And it just.
And I'm just confused because I watched Garrett Riley and TCU, when they made that run to the Natty, and there's a lot of razzle-dazzle. We had that razzle-dazzle, the cuts, the trick plays, the long passes, and everything. Like you said, it's vanilla. It's just run it up the middle, down and out, 6 yards. They read it, boom, get knocked. I mean, it's just like, come on.
Something else that I will say that I've seen a change in our offense. We played Alabama in 2015.
Yeah.
They interviewed some of those Alabama players afterwards, and they said, because, it wasn't a blowout, but they interviewed some of those players, and they just said, we were plumb worn out. Defense said we were tired.
Yeah.
And then they go into 2016, and we beat them. Mm-hmm. And they interviewed those same players, those same defensive players, and they just said, we were so exhausted, we were so tired that we could barely do anything at the end of that game. And the reason why, how fast did our offense move?
Not very fast. And they didn't stay on the field very long.
No. 2014, 2015.
Oh, you're talking about back then. Back then.
Those years, our offense was rush to the line, got the play, let's go. Rush to the line, get the play, let's go.
There's two things. Dad said it years ago. He says, good offense will win games. Great defense will win championships. But now let's go back to what I just said. If you've got a good offense and you keep their defense on the field, like you said, they will be tired. If you clock management and you're running up and down the field, even if you don't score every time, even if you run the clock on offense, it's going to affect their defense, which then again is going to affect your offense when it comes back in and they're tired. And we didn't do that. I mean, we were on the field a lot more.
Well, like I said,
I don't know the final stats. The time management, a lot more offensive possession than we did time-wise.
I know. In the 2016 national championship game, we ran 90 plays. 90. Mm-hmm. There were 90 offensive plays that were ran in that championship game, and Alabama said. Several of their players said, we were exhausted. We were tired. We couldn't get off the ball. Like, we were so tired. Why? Yeah. Because the offense ran. They moved. They got up. They were like, rest, let's go. And I've noticed in the last years, mostly since the 2018 year, we started to – it's like offense started to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And now we're running like 30, 40, 50 plays. We're not running that 90, that 80, they're just slowed down completely. And I don't know.
Slow down. We don't looking for the alpha dog, alpha male. I mean, even on offense. I mean, I think we got a feel in defense. I want to see Sammy Brown. I heard he got in the game on the kickoff return, stuff like that. But I did hear Peter Wood's name a couple times. I did know he made a sack. Hey, he's a beast.
Yeah, I'm not worried about.
Yeah, like defense. I said, like we talked about, we weren't worried about the defense, and I think the defense was fine. And they just, like we just talked about, they just got tired for being on the field. They finally ran them down.
I mean, Georgia,
for whatever reason, they talk about it all the time.
Just pounded them down. Period.
Evidently, it takes
them down to the point of tiredness because they didn't get rest on the sideline. They were, they get to the sideline. They're looking at what went on the last, and then here you go. It's punting. Offense is punting.
But I guess the most baffling thing for me is the play calling.
I'm
just going to be direct, straight up. I just, they need
play
to do
calling
something.
Needs to change. It has got to change.
Do a flea flicker. Do an option. Do something, man. Make it just the same old 3 plays almost.
Look, I am one of the biggest Dabo supporters you'll probably
And
ever see.
that
I
goes back
love
to the coach.
Dabo. I think he's one of the greatest coaches that Clemson's ever had. But if it's true
And it's not just
that
us.
he's not
It's the
allowing Garrett
war.
Riley to run his playbook, and
Yeah.
that because there was a comment that was made by Dabo in a press conference where he said, "We hired Garrett Riley to run a Clemson playbook or a Clemson offense."
Uh-huh.
Does that mean the plays that was 2010 to 2016 plays? Or
Yeah.
are we allowing Garrett Riley to have some say on plays, like draw up some new plays? You know what I mean? Because I know for a fact that he let Venables draw whatever defense he wanted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Play calling has got to get better. We have got to do something different that's not the most predictable of predictable, whatever you want to say.
And you would think they'd come out the second half and change it up. And it looks the same. It looks the same as it did last year.
Yeah. It just, I mean, to go in there and only get 3 points on the day when you were in the red zone, how many times? I think we were in the red zone like 3-4 times.
Not much.
Or we were in plus territory several times.
Yeah.
And just couldn't finish. Which is one of the things that Dabo's always preached about was we got to finish. Well, they didn't finish when they were needed to be. And defense they finally just got worn
And
off.
you got to get first down.
Do it anymore.
You got to get first down. And I'm not knocking Maffa, but I was hoping he'd have a better. I think he ended up like 79 yards. I was hoping he'd break a few.
He couldn't. He seemed a little stale too.
Yeah, he didn't seem fast. We're so spoiled with ETN and these guys. ETN would be like, he'd get the ball and it was like, boom, a rocket, man. And even if you hit him, you're going another 3 or 4 yards.
Well, Maffa didn't do bad. It's just we didn't really run the ball as good as we should have ran the ball, but we were trying to. And that was the thing that, everybody wants to blame Cade Klubnik and say, oh, he's horrible. He's not he's not our elite quarterback. I think his problem is he's not used to the offensive line actually giving him some time. And I think his internal clock is a little quicker than it should be. He had several times that he had time in the pocket to make a throw, and he felt rushed and tucked it and ran, or he would throw it down to the check down guy that wasn't going to give us the yards that we needed. Yeah, but, when he did throw it down the field, it was, we made plays until an offensive wide receiver, was offsides or illegal motion. Offensive penalties killed us in key drives. That helped. That didn't help at all. But I will say that I noticed
we got a night game at Death Valley.
The offensive line. Huge.
I think it's a night. You've been to a night game. It's just electric. I love night games. 8:00 game, prime time. I can't wait. Playing
Is that's confirmed that we are 8:00 on
8:00? Yeah, 8:00. Okay. Which is great. Those are my favorite. We can tailgate all day. We can do a couple of shows, eat chicken, hang out, go to football, whatever. And then it just builds up. And in between, you stop by and you visit people at the tailgate and you watch the Georgia game or the whatever game. You got all these games you can watch before because everybody's got the TV out there. And then finally you go and get in the stadium. It's electric. It's dark. You see the bus coming around. Then they start playing Queen, We Will Rock You. And the next thing you know, cannons shoot off. They run down that hill. And it's just something. All games at Death Valley are exciting. Something about a night game is just more electric.
Yeah.
And I think we usually play night games at Death Valley pretty good. The ones I've been to. I think we're a little PO'd, a little ticked off. And I think we'll go in there and play with a chip on our shoulder. And hopefully see some offense. I'm not worried about defense.
And,
I'm pretty sure
to kind of end on the positive side, if you will, from the Georgia game. Because, like I said, we started out with a little positive, and then we had our negative. Now let's end that game on a positive side. Yes, we lost. And yes, we lost fairly bad. But we go undefeated from here on out. If we go undefeated from here on out, win the ACC championship, we're back in the 12-team playoff, and we can have our revenge against Georgia.
It's
And
time
how
to do
many
that.
times have you seen a team play each other in the season and replay in the later of the season, and the team that lost always prevails?
I'm like you. I'm a positive thinker.
How many times
I
have
don't
you
see
seen
anybody
a team
beating us.
beat
I
a
mean,
team and hold on? How many
I would,
times have you seen a team beat a team in regular season, play them in the playoff, and get demolished by the team that lost?
not often. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any
I
time
can
this
name a
happened with
few
us.
just in general.
Who?
Well, several teams have lost in regular season
Okay.
and got
Well,
their
they think
second
Clemson and
chance,
Georgia.
and won.
Clemson's never played Georgia in the playoffs.
No,
No, but we could.
we
I'm just
can.
saying. I'm trying to think of who's lost in the beginning of the season and got back in the playoffs and killed them.
Alabama,
Alabama, who they beat?
Alabama,
And who?
Georgia.
Alabama played.
Who else? That was two teams that I knew right offhand, but I have to go back and look at it again. But there's been several teams that has lost to a team in regular
4-3.
season and had their revenge game and beat them.
Well, I mean, let's say that we took Georgia to the fourth quarter. I don't care what the score was. 21-21, and then all of a sudden they kicked the last second field goal and they beat us 21-24. How far do you think we would have dropped back? I mean, we dropped back 11 spaces. We played the number one team, but you think we played
the
Walford?
new AP poll did not give us much favor, but
it's a big drop back.
If it was a close game, we probably would have dropped maybe a spot or two.
Yeah, that was a big drop.
But when you gotta lose, what was it, 30-something to 3?
Yeah,
I expected
the worst loss
drop.
we had, I think they said since 2010, something like that.
But I expected a big drop. But you know what? Hey, we're still in the top 25.
Well, we talked about this. I mean, we didn't want to lose that bad, but we talked about it. More pressures on Georgia. The only two things will happen. We win. That's awesome. If we lose, we lose. It's not the end of the world. It's the first game. We're playing the number one team. We got the rest of the season. I'm looking ahead. I'm trying to think. I mean, there can be any team that can beat us. We got to play like Clemson. We got to get our offense straight. I think we'll be ready for Appalachian State. I was worried about Florida State. Man, my biggest surprise so far this football season has been Florida State. They look terrible. I mean, they even their own players, one of their coaches said, man, we just look terrible. We were terrible. I mean,
hey, let me
they were ranked, what were they ranked? 10th up until yesterday?
How's that transfer portal working that everybody complains about that Clemson doesn't do? Florida State is nothing but transfer portal, and they have gone 0-2, starting out ranked number 10. So you can put the portal talk to rest.
And then you get to some of the other games. Well, South Carolina barely beat Old Dominion. That was funny. I thought Old Dominion was a basketball team. I saw it tied at halftime. It's like they barely beat them. Of course, we get ragged that we lost to Georgia when they barely beat Old Dominion. Alabama, they wiped out somebody 63-0. Ole Miss.
Alabama played some high school team.
Ole Miss played Furman here in upstate down the road.
Yeah, Ole Miss played Furman.
76-0.
State played Akron.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And then, of course, they're going to get right. You know what, though? Notre Dame went to Texas A&M, played a damn good game. Really played a damn good game. I was impressed with Notre Dame. They beat Texas A&M. So, yes, deservingly so, should be up there. But that game on Sunday night, game, USC versus LSU.
That was a good game.
That was a fun game to watch.
That was it. That's college football.
My son kept asking me, who do you want to win? Who do you want to win? I said, I really don't care who wins.
That was a good game.
I'm just here to watch the game.
Yeah.
But I did not, unfortunately, get to watch the game on Monday night between Florida State and Boston College. But from what I'm seeing and what I've heard, DJU was the DJU of old, and Florida State looks like garbage. And so there you go.
Yeah.
But everybody wants Dabo to go to the transfer portal. Well, that's 2 years in a row that Florida State has been nothing but transfer portal. and they went 13-0 one year and was left out and was demolished, like made look like a stepchild at the bowl game. And
Yeah.
now they're all those guys are
Some
gone. They transferred out or opted out.
teams using it and it's working for them. I mean,
And now they get all these new transfers in for the portal, and look, they're 0-2.
Florida State was the most highly overrated team of the season, I would have to say.
Well, I am a firm believer in recruit the players that fit your school, recruit the players that fit your system, your what do you call it? Structure, your the gel of the team, if you will. I can't think of the word right now that I'm trying to think of, but you know what I'm saying. I love the fact that Dabo and his team recruit players. He's already said, and we can put this to bed. He's not against the portal. He has looked at guys in the portal. He has tried to talk to guys in the portal.
Yeah.
But it's not like some kind of free agency where you just say, "Hey, here's $1 million contract. Come, we'll sign a contract with you." No, you have to still recruit those guys, and you got to get those guys to buy in and be all in, and still want to come to Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that there was a few guys that he talked to in the portal and tried to get, but they chose to go somewhere else. So it's not that he's against the portal. It's just who he's trying to get doesn't fit the Clemson mentality.
I like the way it was before. Yeah. I actually liked it before. I mean, and I get the NIL. I mean, it's a big business now. It's changed college football, but I like the way it was back in the old days. But you got to roll the times. Things are differently. It's now become a big-time business. Now, we talked about it a little bit in the show. There was money changing hands, that little under-the-table money where the star quarterback would be recruited from Texas, and you go to 4 or 5 different universities and then have $5 in the bank. Next thing you know, 2 days later, he's driving a brand new BMW around Tuscaloosa. So it's been going on. Now it's just legal. But it has changed college football.
Did you see what Saban said on College Game Day?
I did. That was classic, man. That was his first college week.
He said, you got that $20 million roster. You got to know who to pay and who not. And Kurt Herbstreit said, "You just broke the internet with that comment," which means he was admitted to paying players. So
any other games besides Clemson you want to talk about? I'm gonna look ahead at who's playing.
I haven't even seen what's on the roster as far as
who already played.
Coming.
Let's look ahead, see who we got here. Maybe hopefully Alabama and some of these people play somebody this week. I'm curious. I'm really curious about Alabama, even though they beat a high school team 63-0. I'm curious. Here we go. How good they're going to be without Saban. Here we go. This is the game of the week coming up, in my opinion. Number 3, Texas and Michigan. I got Texas on.
Literally was just about to say that. I was literally about to. Now that's going to be.
I've got Texas as maybe even winning it all, but Georgia. I'd like to see Georgia Texas play.
You know what?
Wait, don't they have Arch Manning? Arch Manning's their quarterback?
No, it's Ewers. However you say his last name.
Arch Manning with who?
Ewers.
But Arch Manning, who's he?
Backup.
Huh? No, he's playing. He's playing. He played Saturday.
He played after they were blowing them out.
Oh, okay. So he's sitting back down.
Yeah, he's just the backup.
All right. So we got Georgia Tech ranked ahead of us at 23. So we got Texas and Michigan at noon on Fox. Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Let me look at this
But for
Georgia Tech and Syracuse.
Texas actually has to go to the big house. Like they're playing in Ann Arbor. So that will be a fun matchup to watch.
Michigan played a high school team, didn't they, this week?
Yeah, they played somebody, nobody.
There's a lot of that going on at first. And we ended up playing. I remember it used to be we play like every once in a while play like Georgia, and then we play at Citadel and Wofford. And Georgia Tech
versus Arkansas will be a good matchup.
Georgia Tech, Syracuse.
I was just going to
Georgia
say
Tech's looking pretty good this year.
Georgia Tech, Syracuse could be a good game.
Georgia and Tennessee Tech. That'll be 100-0.
Yeah, Georgia's playing Tennessee Tech, which is might as well just put your second and third string in.
Yeah, not get anybody hurt. Utah, Baylor. Utah's a
Notre
low.
Dame will play Northern Illinois. We already know who's
You
going to
got Alabama playing South Florida. Not a lot of ranked teams. Okay, Tennessee and NC State. NC State's 24. Playing Tennessee. Tennessee's looking good.
Miami looked good, by the way.
Tennessee's
Miami
quarterback.
might be somebody to worry about in the ACC.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Tennessee's quarterback is the real deal. It's a freshman.
And I tell you what, though, the SEC and the AD of Alabama really set up the new head coach there to have his first 2 easy weeks. Yeah. Playing a high school team the first week, and now they're playing in South Florida the next week. Come on. Come on.
They're going to get – is Georgia on their schedule? No, they're going to get in there and have to play LSU. They're going to get in there and have to play some of these. Ole Miss looks good.
Let's see here. Okay, so Alabama played Western Kentucky, beat them 63-0. Now this week they've got South Florida. Next week they got Wisconsin in Wisconsin.
There are only a few games of 2 ranked teams.
So that'll be a fun game to watch.
Now, who's that?
Alabama versus Wisconsin in Wisconsin. So they actually have to travel to Wisconsin. How often do you see Alabama play a Power 5 school in their own stadium?
I would like to see them go up there mid-November when it's snowing.
But then, right after the Wisconsin game, set your schedules. Saturday, 9/28 at 7:30 p.m. It'll be number 1 Georgia versus number 4 Alabama in Alabama.
Georgia's got it, but we're going to see how good Alabama.
And then after that, Alabama plays Vanderbilt, and then South Carolina. And then Tennessee. So Florida, Alabama doesn't have a horrible schedule to finish, but I'm going to definitely be watching that Alabama Georgia game on 9/28.
That is going to be a night game.
Yep, 7:30.
All right, yeah, that'll be good. I'm glad to see you, man.
Florida has already been deemed as to having the hardest schedule in the nation.
Dude, Miami looked good, actually. They held us high for the last 3 or 4 years. Miami, and they just flew.
Miami looked really
good.
Their
quarterback was really good.
And again, it was Florida. Is Florida worth saying? We'll have to see how they finish the year. But
Miami's quarterback looked good. Florida's quarterback looked flustered. Miami's offense looked really good. We'll see. We'll see how they go with this. A lot of times they'll start out and just be, and
it'll be interesting to see who's in the ACC championship this year with no division, no division. It's now just based on who has the best record. So you could literally see
but it's ACC record, right?
Yeah.
So Georgia game doesn't really count toward that. No matter what, you could lose all your non-conference games and still win all of them and win the ACC championship.
Right.
And that's really what you want to do.
It'll be interesting to see because they decided to do that because they were tired of Clemson versus some weak team, Clemson versus that team, or Florida State versus this team. Yeah. So they did away with
Virginia, Clemson, North Carolina.
Now you could play Florida State in the middle of the season and see them again in the ACC championship. So
and it's a big advantage of winning.
And from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken,
because got that home field advantage. That's big.
From what I understand, the SEC and the Big Ten did the same thing. There's no divisions anymore.
Oh, really?
So
everything's changing.
All the big conferences have done away from division so that the conference championship game is a little bit more interesting. Mm-hmm. So you could have, that Alabama LSU matchup or that Alabama Auburn matchup in the SEC that had happened several times where it came down to the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
and it knocked that team out. Remember that year that Auburn beat Alabama in the last game of the season, knocked them out of the conference championship game.
Yeah.
And then Alabama still got voted in to go play the national championship game and won.
Yeah.
Which I call BS on that.
Well, yeah,
you should have to be able to play in your conference championship to have a chance.
I remember that. That ticked me off, man.
Alabama did that 2 times.
They did. They did. I'm surprised they got in last year, man. But
they didn't even play in their conference championship.
I remember that.
And played 2 national titles and won 2 national titles, not even being a conference champion. That's bull crap, if you ask me.
It is. It is. Alabama's got the little halo around them. It's fixing that.
Well, but that's why. From what I have to go back and research.
But we got to see them play somebody. You know, when they play Georgia, we're going to find out real quick. You know, playing these little high school teams getting started out.
Go back and look at it, but I was told, or I saw something that said that the Big Ten and the SEC don't have divisions anymore, and it is just basically
I told y'all,
conference champion will be
that, like early in the year, and it was like, "What are you talking about?" So that's what I read. That's what I heard, and you're right, and I kind of like it.
Hey,
I kind of like it. It makes sense if you think about it.
I think this year will make Notre Dame face the music and wake up.
I'm just pray to God we get our offense going, man. It's getting frustrating.
Yeah,
I mean, even with Taj Boyd, we had Nuke. I mean, we had some explosion there, and some. I mean, Clemson's always had that for a long while.
Well, I mean, we got to get Wesco. We got to get TJ Moore.
Got to get him going, man. And if he's going to be the next
Randall, we got to get Strecco.
We got to get those 3-yard run on first down, and then your little screen try. They read and they get you at the line. Then all of a sudden it's 3rd and 7, and you can't convert, and then you kick it, and then you do the same thing again, and then you do the same thing again, and it's just like, come on, do a flea flicker, do something.
Now,
do something to make it exciting. Go for the long ball. I don't care, man, but something.
Did you see the latest controversy of a former NFL player and what he said about Clemson? And now he's having to make apologies?
No. I saw Ric Flair pulling for Clemson.
So, former wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, Roddy White.
Okay.
During the Clemson-Georgia game, he got on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days, and made a comment about how many white guys were on the offense.
Really?
For Clemson. And he was saying that he's like, I don't understand why there's so many white guys on the offense. And, this isn't word for word, but he was saying that goes back to recruiting. Clemson's not recruiting them. Like, they're not being themselves. And he got a lot of backlash for making that comment and he was being called a racist and a lot of stuff. And he came out and apologized saying, I'm not a racist. People that know me and are around me know that I'm not a racist, but people are taking what I'm saying out of context. But I could care less what somebody's color is. If they're doing their job on the field, what does it matter? I just found it interesting that this former NFL player is catching a lot of backlash over making that comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, white, black, you go with the best player. Color doesn't make a difference.
And I'm trying to sit here and think about it. I was like, what is he talking about? Because there's several guys on the offense.
Used to be a bunch of all white quarterbacks back in the day.
Most of the wide receivers. Every one of the running backs. Like, I was sitting here thinking, like, who's he? What is he talking about?
Well, like
several.
Like Clemson had a lot of white players on their basketball team, and usually it's more. None of that really matters. I mean, people start putting skin color on. You pick the best player, and they turn it into something like, look, if the black guy's better than the white guy, he starts. The white guy's better than the black guy, he starts. Has nothing to do with except who's the best player.
No, I just thought it to be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
kind of funny.
I didn't really notice. I didn't really
made that comment, and
I didn't make the observation about that. I was just like,
I didn't even notice. I literally didn't even.
Now I'm thinking about it.
I'm watching the game to watch the game. I didn't even notice what color somebody was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, Didn't even
Yeah.
care about that. So
Yeah.
but I just found it interesting that he's now taking a lot of backlash on that. So it's,
So, you been outside today?
I was out a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Out a
nice.
little
It's
bit.
fall. It's nice. It
Oh,
was last
is
week
it
was nice.
well, we're in the South. Is it the
Yeah.
fake, the faux,
Well, we
what,
know that the
faux
week
winter,
before the
faux
last week,
fall, whatever you want to call that?
the fake fall, the week before last week was like it is now. And I remember we were talking about it on the podcast. And then all of a sudden, I believe Orange says hello. That's weird. I posted that a while back. Anyways, yeah, just now popping up about 15 minutes ago. Hey, I believe Orange, we're right here. And then all of a sudden, game day week, man, we were out at the Clemson Marina. I had to get in there, set out outside, and it was hot out there by the water. But yeah, it was hot last week. It feels good this week. I looked at the game and tailgate and everything. I think it's gonna be in the 70s, low humidity. So this is the time of year I live for.
Hey, look, I love this, the 70s, the high
70s
70s,
fine.
the very low 80s. Like, I love this weather. It's
Dude,
good golf
man,
weather.
after that golf tournament, I know y'all think I played okay, but I was a little. But anyways, I've been
Hey,
out in the backyard.
listen,
Dude, I've been. It's
I
like, why did I
had
do that in the tournament, man?
I had a lot of fun
Now
playing
it
in
was.
that
I got
tournament.
home, bro, and I was worn out. I felt like I
I
didn't.
had a lot of fun. I can't wait for
Can't wait to do
next
it again.
year. I
And
can't wait for
there's
next
no way
year.
around it not being hot in 1st of August.
Dude, it was just a hot day. I ain't gonna
And then
lie,
I
but I
drove home. I
cannot
just
wait
be
for
up ready
next
to go to bed
year.
about
I'm
9 o'clock that night.
excited. I'm hoping that us same 4 guys can maybe get together and
Oh
do the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. We didn't play horrible.
You and Brad are the
You
best.
you
I mean,
you helped us out a few times on some
designated
plays.
putter.
But no, I can't wait for that tournament again next year. So
Next year, yeah, we're definitely
yeah,
gonna do that.
but
Maybe
I
we
don't
can put
know.
together an Oblate Orange tournament in the spring. I mean, near the
Oh
spring.
yeah, let's
I'm gonna
go.
have to ask Wayne. Hey, I guess you got to get in touch with the golf club and tell them what you're doing and work out the logistics. I don't see why we can't find something to raise money for
Yeah,
and do it when it's in the 70s.
I mean we've got plenty of sponsors that could probably get
Yeah,
involved.
sponsor us. We ought to do that like right before the spring game, the end of March.
Yeah,
Perfect weather for me. 50
yeah,
degrees, 60, fine. Let's do
definitely
it.
do something for the spring game. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I will
I will check into that.
totally be
I'm
involved
leaving to
with
go to
helping with this. I'm
I'm
all
leaving,
about it. The
I'm
guy
leaving to
that
go to
did
Clemson in the morning.
the
And
guy
it wasn't
that
the first
did
time I
the
thought that.
product auction, he was good.
I think we talked a little bit about that, the golf cart. Yeah, why not? Why not? I'll stop by there this week and just go in the clubhouse and ask what I need to do or how do we go about doing this?
Well, it don't
Uh,
have to necessarily be just basketball. I mean, there's a couple other courses
couple of
around
them out
there
there.
that could be good too.
Yeah. And
So
yeah.
we just got to find a good cause to raise. What
Well, we
could we
do the
raise the
breast
money
cancer
for?
awareness in October. We just I'll figure it out. I got a crazy mind. I'll figure something out. And
You know,
we can have
link up
people
with link
we
up
can
with
have people
Wayne.
sponsor us, and then we can take part of those donations and go
Yeah,
toward a good cause. And then
link up with Wayne. He's got a lot of connections, and
yeah,
be like, hey, what's a good cause that we can, you know,
yeah, yeah. There are a
because
bunch of them.
I think now the Orange and White weekend it's raising money for scholarships now for certain
Yeah,
people.
because
If
we had book bags and stuff out there.
yeah,
I brought some book bags out there for kids that normally the parents don't have a lot of money. They need school supplies.
yeah.
And the night before you got down there Friday night, you were at the Duncan thing. I think before you got down
Yeah,
there, they handed
you
everything
guys
out,
had
a
left
bunch of book
before I
bags and
got
stuff.
there, and we
Parents
got
came
there
down
a
there and
little
picked them
late.
up, donated
We
some.
we coming down from Charlotte, we got held up in a lot of traffic, and but we did make it to the tailgate party, and I will say for anybody out there listening, the Orange and White weekend was an amazing weekend with meeting like some of the legends of basketball and football, and you know. And then
Oh yeah,
going out there, Sunday for the golf event. I mean, that was just fun. I actually have another guy that he actually used to be on the golf team
hmm
for Clemson, and he's definitely interested in being part of our golf team next year if we
Oh, he's on Clemson golf. Yeah, definitely. We want him on
He
our
was
team.
actually on the golf team.
Can we have more 4 players on our team?
Yeah, you got 4, but if one of the guys that we were with this year, can't make it for
Well, I
whatever
think
reason,
Grayson Marshall had about 6. I mean, you can have more than 4 people. Well, even we have the same.
it's only a 4-man team.
That's 4-man team. Okay,
Yeah, it was
maybe
only a
Grayson
4-man
didn't.
team. Grayson Marshall was teamed up with 3 other guys. Now his
He's
team
won
was
it 3
great.
years in a row.
He had a great team. So
yeah, he must play a lot of golf. He must be pretty good.
Grayson Marshall apparently plays a lot of golf.
He's won 3 years in a row. He's running. I mean, they've only done it 3 or 4 years. He's won like every time.
I've got, as of the last few weeks, because I've played since then, my game has actually increased and gotten a little bit better. I'm now down.
You play every
11.
week, don't you? You text me. You text me about 2 weeks ago. Where are we playing this? What course are we playing on? I said, I think you got the wrong dude. You remember that?
Oh yeah. I was, I had just texted you, or you had just texted me, or something, and I was trying to respond back to somebody, and I just hit the first text thinking it was who I was talking to. But yeah, my handicap has come down to an 11 now. I'm moving on down.
Moving on down instead of moving on up.
I'm tied for 3rd right now in my league golf, so I'm excited.
So you gonna try to make a game this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I'd like to.
What do you think?
And actually, my brother has a camper, so I can take the camper and go down to Golden Gate, Clemson.
You go to Golden Gate.
By the way, for anybody listening or watching, you gotta go look up Golden Gate Clemson parking.
Gate, hook that
they have up. The parking. They have they got some trailer porta johns out there, not those plastic porta johns sitting in the middle of a field. They're actually going to have a nice setup. Get out there and get your parking.
We're working on getting this called So Legit. Stevie, I call it the I Bleed Orange Band. Stevie, we went and saw him play Friday night after the show. They're really good. Talk about maybe getting them playing down there. It's going to have to be like a night game and set that up. I mean, we're going to start selling products down there. I'm not into opening up a store or anything like that. But he said, come down there and sell your merchandise.
Yeah, set up a table, man. Set up a table.
Set up a table and
out there. You got get some hats, some shirts.
Yeah, I just got tired.
I know there were some legal issues over the IBO beer and the cigars.
There's no legal issues. There's just there's an idiot, a hater out there that's jealous of us. I told you the story.
Yeah. Well, but no.
My blood runs orange, and I bleed orange are not even in the same boat on trademark infringement. And now we got the liquor, the moonshine, and he's got a beer called My Blood Runs Orange, and we're called I Bleed Orange. And you got moonshine, which is a distiller, and you got a brewer, and it has nothing to do. And we're not even competing with this dude. And so there's some nutty.
But now you can't set up a table and buy and sell the beer or the moonshine, right?
No, I can't sell. I don't have a liquor license. I don't want a liquor license.
Right.
I can sell everything else except I can give it away to a bar free and give it away to a person free to try out. That's what I did in the beginning. I went and got a hotel over Clemson, went down to the SO Club, went over to Tiger Tavern, went everywhere and said, hey, look, have you heard about did you know we have Clemson beer out there? Like, what? Never heard of it. Yeah, I Bleed Orange. They're like, man, that's cool. And I'd give it to them, and they'd try it out, and they'd have to order it through the distributor because beer is run by distributors. If you're in Spartanburg, you go through Budweiser. If you're in Greenville, you go through Greenco. And if you're in Anderson Pickens, you go through Carolina Distributors. So in other words, if they like the beer, they call the distributor up and tell them to put it on the truck. And that's how I found all this out. That's how the beer thing works.
Well, I know that's what I was saying. Is like I was saying, like, hey, go set up a table, sell some hats, sell some shirts. Maybe
legally, I can't sell beer.
I didn't know what the deal legally.
All the other stuff I can sell. Cigars I can sell. Cigars I can ship. Dude, if I could have shipped beer, I would have made a fortune.
Well, I got to get me some cigars.
I looked into it. And all the laws and regulations of shipping I Bleed Orange beer. It's like, nah, cigars you can ship.
Yeah, well, hook me up. I need some cigars.
Well, I don't have them yet. I got to talk. I got too much going on, man. I got somebody supposed to be taking over the product division. The thing is the guy wanted me to put in a pretty big order, and I want to kind of like do a little test drive on see if it sells. But I've got another guy that actually I talked to. I just had to have time to follow up on it because I think I Bleed Orange cigars would. Hell, I smoked it. I'm smoking one tonight. I bought one tonight to smoke. So
Yeah, I
Might as well
like
smoke
to
my own.
partake in a cigar here and there.
Um,
I like my best friend who passed away a couple months ago.
yeah,
Him and I, that was one of the biggest things we had in common was smoking some
I
cigars
love
together.
cigar. Man, I don't get the smoking thing. I've never been a cigarette smoker. When I was in
I
college,
I
I bought a
smoked
pack.
cigarettes a little bit back in the day when I was in high school
I
and
bought.
whatnot, but I never really heavily went into it. But I always would love a cigar here and there, and especially when playing golf or sitting by the fire pit, I love to have
Mhm.
like a little cigar here and there. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd love to get my hands on some I Bleed Orange cigars.
okay. I'm trying to let me send this. People are asking about. People are texting me wanting to see the podcast. Let me send it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
hey,
We're coming back bigger. We're coming back better. We're coming back stronger. We're coming back wiser. We are I Bleed Orange, baby. You
yep.
can't keep the gorilla down. Woo!
Woo!
Hold on a
Hey,
second.
like I
I mean,
said,
I went.
I'm
This
excited.
thing's this thing's
We
gotten bigger than me.
we might have taken one on the chin that first week, but you
Yeah.
know what? It's only going to build character, and we're going to
Well,
come back. We're going to beat Appalachian State. We're going to go down. We're going to beat North Carolina State.
dude,
We're going to beat everybody on the roster from here on out.
and
I feel
I
it.
say
I
this
have it.
humbly.
I feel
Yeah.
it. We're
Yeah.
good.
And I say this humbly. I never planned on starting this. I must have just the right circumstances. I must have been the right person, and this thing took off. And it's gotten bigger than me. And I say it humbly. And just the outpouring of love and support. When that Facebook page went down, you would have thought I had a kid that got killed. I mean, it was like her dad died or something. I mean, I literally didn't leave the house. I was on the phone all day. What's going on? It's like, this isn't the end of the world, guys. But evidently, we've created some attention. Evidently, we kind of stand out. We're just not like a regular sports media group. Like my dad said,
Well,
we're badass. We are the Rolling Stones. We're bold. We're in your face. We're the Ric Flair. Woo!
I was looking at some stuff
And
the other day when I got the news about the whole deal, whatever.
I think in that group text.
Yeah, Clemson Nation is a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Clemson Nation
Yeah.
is a Facebook page, and they have literally almost to the number the same amount of people that we had. They're at 30.4 or 34 point something or another.
Yeah,
They were right at the same number
we
we
hit
had.
over 34 during the game. We had 1,000 people come in. And the thing
Right.
is about us is the Clemson Nation, and I'm not trying to compete. I don't compete with these people. I want them to succeed. I'm not, look, everybody can have 100,000 people and have a great business. I'm all for, I don't get jealous of anybody else, but evidently the people out there to do.
Well,
But the thing is, a lot of these groups, I'm in them. I'm not spending a lot of time in them, but they've been around since like 2012. We didn't really start getting up and running until like 2018. And we just took off. And I remember when the Facebook page, I remember looking back, it says, I Bleed Orange with the members of over 15,000. I'm like, Beth, we're at 25. Beth, you need to change that. We're at 30. And no, just between last year, when the Duke game, we were at 23,000, and between the 24 hours of that Friday and when we played Georgia, we had 1,000 people come in 24 hours. And hey, Wendy, and so we had 1,000 people come in, and then we were at the peak of our success. I mean, I was telling, even though Clemson lost, I Bleed Orange was like at a pinnacle. I had one of the best weeks that I ever had with sponsorships. People were calling. People want sponsorship. Even after this happened, I've got 3 people that have contacted me, need to follow up with, that want to sign up as an I Bleed Orange sponsor. And then all of a sudden, I'm out there smoking a cigar out in the garage. Everything happens when I'm out there in the garage. A lot of times, good news. And I get a phone call from Bethany. She goes, "What's up with I Bleed Orange?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, "It's not there no more." I said, "Yeah, it is." So I go in there and put in a search engine, and nothing comes up. I'm like, what? And then I'm thinking like, hey, it's just down for a while, or maybe we're on timeout.
yeah.
Bad boy, we're going to give you a 5-minute timeout. And then next thing I know, the phone just started blowing up, text calls, and everybody. And then everybody wanted to be a administrator. And Bethany's like, so we're building fast. Like I said, the
what
rate
I
we're
was
going,
trying
and
to
we
say
keep it up.
though was Clemson Nation was the same size as we were, And I'm a
But
member of that
they were a
group.
lot bigger us at one time because I remember looking at them
And
when we first started out.
what the problem with Clemson Nation is they don't regulate stuff like we did.
And we regulated,
And
still got in
I
trouble.
saw some horrendous looking stuff going on in that page. Like I almost left the page myself just because of the things that people were saying and the things that they were doing and bashing the teams and the players. And it was just like, this was last year, just alone last year. And I was
Well,
just like,
when Oblate Arts first started out, we didn't screen. Anybody could get in the thing. And then we had people coming in. The problem we had we had some political stuff come in, and then we had to screen all that. That's one of the problem we had is the main thing that got us in trouble, that could have got us in trouble, would people come on and say, I got tickets to the worst. I got 5 tickets for sale or 3 tickets to sell. And we were growing, and I'd be off cutting grass or running around or something, and somebody would go in there and try to buy these tickets, and they would get ripped off. And that's why we don't allow any selling. So that's how we started, we asked, first question we asked in the old group, we haven't got rules yet in this one, was don't be stupid. And it won it. Don't be stupid, first rule.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like Clemson Nation was allowing anything and anything. Like it was anything and everything. And
they're still up and running.
Right.
And we're the only ones that went down. Huh?
I almost left that group because of the things that was being said and whatnot. I was just like, I almost left Clemson Nation just because they were not regulating anything.
I'll tell you the worst.
And I started
the worst. Wendy's gonna like this, but the worst is Clemson and Carolina Trash Talk group. And that actually was responsible for starting this group because we got beat by Alabama when Kelly Bryant was playing. And I woke up the next day, I was married at the time, and I looked at my phone and I was getting all this trash talk Carolina fans, and they weren't playing Alabama. They weren't even in a bowl game. But people in that group, people would go after each other, nasty. And they're still up and running. And I mean, to a certain point, I'm okay with a little bit of trash talk. But, like I said, Mark Zuckerberg, I'm asking you for a cage fight. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I mean, put me in the cage with Mark Zuckerberg. No, he won't. He won't get in the cage with me. But we're excited about this weekend. We've got 2 shows we're doing. I will announce the times, but the way I see it, we're going to do Kia of Anderson kind of early, maybe 11 o'clock, and then we're going to get over to the Golden Gate parking and set up. I'm excited about Golden Gate. Yeah. When I saw him pop up, first of all, he was trying to come in when we were screening. And Golden Gate, I said, this is a scam. He kept trying to post stuff. So I'm like, dude, what's up with this? And give me a call. And he called me, and it came up a Greenville number. And I said, well, this is local. I thought it was somebody out in California or something trying to scam. And when I went out there and saw his place a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you're out there kind of in the country. I mean, good thing is you got Tiger Town Transport that's going to take you to and from the game. You're out there and you got all this open space, trees. And like I said, we're going to get a band out there, Stevie. And then we're going to come out there and play. Wendy's going to sing. We're excited. I mean, we're going to be out there.
Well, like I said, hey, let's go win the rest of the season.
We're going to bring a lot of Oblate Orange people out. The biggest problem.
You're cutting out on me there, Josh.
We're spinning there, Rob. You all right?
Yeah, you kind of keep cutting out on me, but hey, we got App State this weekend. Let's win the rest of the season. Let's finish strong. And I have confidence in Dabo. He's gonna get them ready. We're gonna be ready.
I just want to see the offense get back to where it was.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, offense is just sexy when it's when you got them plays and they're breaking plays and you're getting those long balls and you get like Hunter Renfrow. I mean, I love those days when I can't live in the past, but Hunter Renfrow, they do a little 5-yard pass. You remember them times like all the whole Gamecock team chasing him in the end zone, and I mean they couldn't get him down, and he was a little dude.
And I think that's the problem.
Mike Williams, all you had to do is throw the ball up in the air and he'd catch it.
Yeah,
he'd have 20 people.
Well, I
around.
think that's the problem that we have right now is that they're trying to play. They're trying to have those plays with our current players, and I think that's where the problem is lying.
Yeah.
No, all right. I hear you there, Wendy. Born App State.
Yeah, she's from the Appalachian State country. Beautiful area, beautiful campus. I mean, but we got to watch out. Appalachian State, I mean, beat Michigan a couple of years ago. And I think Michigan's number 1 or number 2. God, I keep saying get it. But Appalachian State's not a easy walk on.
No, it's going to be a tough game, but I feel like if we come out there and show ourselves and be ourselves and basically find our identity on offense, that's a lot of things that a lot of these talking heads have been saying is
this reminds
our
me
offense doesn't have an identity yet. Like we don't have an identity. So
this reminds me a lot of last year, except I actually, even though we got a good little ass kicking, excuse my language, I feel a lot better after the Georgia game than I did after
Appalachian State.
Would you not agree with this? I feel a lot better this year than I did last year after that Duke game. That Duke game was the worst football hangover I ever had. And that was like when I Bleed Orange went down. When we lost that game, because me and Mike were talking about it in the show. We had already looked past the Duke game. We had Clemson national championship, and we weren't worried about Duke. It's a Monday night game.
The problem
was the way we played.
Duke, we beat ourselves in the Duke game. We beat ourselves in the Duke game. We beat ourselves in the Duke game.
The Georgia game, basically, we had no offense. We played great defense until the second half.
We were actually moving the ball against Duke. We had 2 fumbles on the 5-yard line or on the goal line.
We were inside the 5-yard line twice, and inside the 2-yard line. Couldn't score touchdown.
And fumbled. All right. So we beat ourselves in the Duke game. Now the Georgia game.
That was a bad.
That was all. We had no offensive play calling. Like
if we were going to get shut down,
plain and simple.
If we were going to get shut down as I Bleed Orange, if we were going to get shut down as a group, it would have been that next day. Because I remember I just had to turn my phone off. Yeah. And I'll never forget it because Diamond's Direct. I'll never forget it. I was in Clemson. I watched the game in Clemson. We did the show in Clemson. It was on a Monday night. It's Tuesday, and I'm riding around and I'm prospecting, and I see Diamond's Direct. I talked to him on the phone one time. I went in there. Guy's a big Clemson fan. He's in the box seats. He renewed Friday. And I went in there, and I said, I'm going to cut you a deal. I'm going to give you the Charleston Southern game, which was that Friday. This is why it reminds me a lot of last year. And he goes, I don't want Charleston Southern game. So I think he picked Wake Forest game. But anyways, we played a night game, the second game, because we tailgated all day. We did a show at Romeo's Pizza, but we went into the night game against Charleston Southern and lit it up. It was Charleston Southern, but I'm trying to remember scores like 48 to – you remember that game? 48-10, 50-something. I mean, our offense looked pretty decent that game.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, we had the second string in the fourth quarter. So that's what I want to happen Saturday night.
Well, all right. App State, 8 o'clock Saturday. Set your time. Set your calendar.
We are I Bleed Orange, baby. We're not going anywhere.
We got some great
sponsors. We're the 800-pound gorilla.
And once again, if you're headed down to Clemson and you need parking, look up Golden Gate Clemson parking. They got a shuttle bus. They got porta-johns. They have camper accessibility. Check them out. If you're looking to have something done in your house picture-wise, look up Image. Imagine Studio. Excuse me.
Image is imagestudios.com. And if you go in there, and he does Carolina, he does Clemson, he does all the teams, Carolina Panthers, Carolina Gamecocks, Clemson, Duke, it doesn't matter. I mean, money's green. I'm going to tell you a funny story today. I bought 4 scratch-offs, Clemson. And I hadn't won it, and not all together, but over the last couple of weeks, I bought Clemson scratch-off. I hadn't won anything. So I went in the store today, and Clemson's there and Carolina's there. And I said, money's green. So I bought a Clemson, I bought a Carolina. I went out the car and I scratched Clemson. That's like the 6th Clemson one I bought in a row. I didn't win nothing. Scratched the Carolina one. Won $40.
Hey, like I said,
money's green. I mean,
yep.
I guess
Yeah,
I won
definitely
35.
Wendy. The Clemson, we had them on the show last week. He has a great setup with a shuttle bus, takes you 12 minutes from the parking to the stadium, and then they'll pick you up and bring you back to your car. It's like a 12-minute drive. 12 minutes probably,
Yeah, it's
without
over there.
traffic, but
It's over there central, but you're going to come back around. You know, what Daniels High School is around 6 Mile, and you'll come in that way.
yeah.
There's
the value in the Gamecock. Just
I hear you. Well, she went to Carolina. Yeah, it's a divided house here.
Oh man,
he wears obsolete orange shirts all the time and cheers for us and sings for us and pulls for us. So I'm doing right. I might do an exorcism.
Well, I'm gonna end it with saying, "Go Tigers! Beat App State."
Yeah, we can try to do Tiger Champ, but then you're gonna try it one time.
It never works.
Never works. Try it anyways.
Hey.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. ICLEMSON
TIGERS. Fight, Tigers! Fight, Tigers!
Fight, baby! We're headed. We're going for it. You can't stop us. We're just getting started. The best is yet to come. Mark Zuckerberg, sit down. You ain't stopping us. Huh? All right, join our group.